joy of missing out.
Me too.
All right, let's go.
Ooh. Quiet renovation. What part of your life is under quiet renovation? We are a work in progress. So lifelong learning, I believe in that, being a work of progress, work in progress, lifelong learning. You are never gonna finish learning or building or doing or being until the day that he calls you home. Yeah. So even if we don't realize it, even if it's not concerted, we are evolving, we are changing, hopefully always for the better. To be more accepting of ourselves, our imperfections, and to actually be, when we're aware of them, I wouldn't say correct them, but to learn to embrace them in a way that, hey, I know I'm like that, so how do I play to my strengths then? How can I make this work for me? You can always make a bad situation work for you. That, and then of course we have so much to learn from one another, from the people already in your life, people that you're going to meet, new people, you're going to learn from new experiences, from information that you're going to gather every day, from so many sources. Now it's multi-platform, right? So it's knowledge building, skills, heart knowledge, head knowledge, learning to be more virtuous in a sense that to be more patient, to be kinder, to be more generous, gentler, to be more at peace. So I can't pinpoint one part. I would say that every day I am undergoing a quiet renovation that I may not even realize. I'm changing, because tomorrow I'm not going to be the same as I am today, and I'm not the same as I was yesterday anyway, right?
I think that only happens if we are conscious of a desire to want to learn, to want to evolve. And I think it's a very attractive trait to have. I mean, there are people who are not interested in becoming better, in learning. It's
growing.
Very unattractive. To me, that's very unattractive. I just find it ugh. I feel a bit like, oh, okay, you know. Then I don't know. I just instinctively
move away. It repels you, right? Because it's like you're stagnating.
Yes.
You're almost like rotting. You are not moving ahead. You're not moving forward. You're not progressing.
Because every day we are moving towards death, right? Every day we're dying in that sense. And if we don't move in the direction where we are learning, like physically we are dying, but if our consciousness is not evolving, we're not growing, then we are.
That will be you at the end of it all, right?
So
absolutely.
Your response resonates.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go. What are you no longer willing to shape shift for? I think by and large I'm a very adaptable person when it comes to social situations. Like if I see that a person is awkward or uncomfortable, I will make it a point to like ask questions that I feel like this person will know the answer to. You know, just to
put them at ease, make them feel comfortable, right?
Yeah. Because of the context of where I am. Let's say it's a business networking, then this is what I would do. And if it's for social, and if I'm not the host, it depends on my. Sometimes I feel like when you are in social events, the host should make it a point to be a real host. If the host is not willing to do that, I used to feel like it's my responsibility to make other people feel at home. Like even if I'm not the host, if I feel like okay, someone is there alone, I would want to make them feel comfortable. You know, I would step up and. But I feel like now these days I feel like, but I'm not the host. And so there's certain things, so I feel like okay, maybe because I'm older now, I feel like okay, it's a bit hard work, you know, having to socialize that way, because it's also not natural to me, but I make it a point, right, to be social and ask questions. So I don't even attempt these days. I don't bother to shape shift in that sense. I just feel like okay, it's not my responsibility. I'll say hi at most, but I will not do the job of the host. Or to accommodate. The other thing I'm not willing to shape shift is for people's emotional immaturity. You know, I'll just say it as it is. If you can't take it, then you need to think about it, you know. Of course, I don't purposely say things to hurt people, but sometimes if the truth is the truth, then I'll just say it. And so these are. Yeah, I think there's a part of me, right? I mean, this comes from the part of me that growing up, right? Like needing to make sure that okay, everybody is at peace, you know, being the peacemaker in that sense. So I think that makes me shape shift a lot, which I'm now no longer willing to do. I mean, depending on situations, of course, you know, some situations and circumstances, I think it will be, you know, it's right to do it. So that would be my response to this question. It kind of disappeared when I tried to remove it, and then
it was trying to run away from you. Like, don't remove me. What are you finally honoring, even if no one applauds it? I've never not honored my life, actually. So I've never really cared about what people think of what I do with my life. I've always chosen things according to my heart. I've always listened to my heart. I hardly listen to my head unless it's to do with like health, you know, or the health of people, or the pets that I care for. But if it's like decisions on work, sometimes like, oh, should I take this job? Should I take on this assignment, this project? Should I go for this thing? I've always gone with heart, gut. Sometimes I think, so what if it pays you more? But I know deep inside I'm not going to be happy. Then I won't take it. Because I won't last. So in the end, it's still, the head still leads the heart. Because if your heart is not happy, no matter what your head tells you, you're just gonna not do well in that environment. So I've never been one of those, and I am very blessed. My parents never forced me to do things I didn't want to do, so I've always been able to live my life more or less according to what my passions are. And I guess I have to say, since I chose it out of my own free will, I honor it. I mean, I try to make the best of it, and I try to do my best and give of my best. So even if no one applauds it, like people think, why like when I went to Australia to study, most of the Singapore friends I made there were studying computer science. Because computer science was like the big thing, because the money was there. I mean, everybody wanted to come back and go and become like webmasters and programmers, and that was during that time, right? And I'm sure all of them are like CEOs now, and they're like, huh? You come all the way here to study arts and social science? Like, you mad or what? Like some of them even ask me in a very Singaporean way, because they're so economically driven, being typical Singaporeans. They're like, huh? Like, what for? You come here and study literature, then what you gonna be? Then I tell them, I don't know, maybe I'll be a broadcast journalist. Oh, okay lah. Got a lot of money, can earn. So, I mean, they were really nice people, but very practical minded. I'm like, no, I think it's okay. And then they, being very computer savvy already, they would write their assignments all on the our hostel had a computer room, so they would use the computer. And then there I was in my room, I'll be writing out my essays. And then one day they said, you are still writing your essays on postcard paper? Like, what's wrong with you? Then I'm like, then how do you all do it? We go to the computer room and we type it, and I said, no lah, the one lah, I don't want to do that, you know. And they all thought I was mad. So I don't care. I think it's fine. I just do it my way. It's always I did it my way.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely a trait that I know of you, right? I mean, since we were teenagers, you have always listened to yourself, you know, and you did what you felt was right, even if other people were opposed to it. You just, you know, I think that's a strength for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Full
so
scat
funny.
Paper.
Yeah, I know. They were horrified.
So funny. What's one area where you're learning to need less proof? I tend to, when it comes to my personal life, when it comes to my personal journey of learning or spirituality, I usually don't look for proof. I just trust my intuition. That for me is proof, I guess, you know. But when it comes to other things, as part of the learning process, I would do my research. And I think that's normal, right? To find out about things before you commit to it, whether it is a medical thing or whatever thing lah. You know, I will go and read up more, go and find out.
Do your homework,
Yeah, and do my due diligence lah. So, in that sense, I wouldn't say I need less proof. In fact, we do need to find more proof, you know. Like, let's say I'm eating something and I'm unfamiliar with this thing, especially it comes in a package, right? And I'll read the ingredients. I'll definitely want more proof if you tell me this thing is healthier. And then I'll go like, okay, but that's not a healthy ingredient, right? Then, you know, then I won't eat it. So in that sense, I feel like we still need to be discerning
Yes.
And we do need to do our own, our homework and all that too. So my response would be, we actually do need proof.
Especially now, everything is so fake. Like with AI, a lot of things you can't even tell, so you have to be very, very careful. And there's so much scamming going on as well.
Yes.
So,
we cannot just take it for granted.
Yes.
For sure. Okay, let's do one more round.
Okay. Oh. This is a very interesting question, and it's a question that reflects a lot of growth, actually. Actually, I would say my realization that I'm nothing without God. I mean, back in the day when when I didn't have an authentic relationship with God, I used to think that whatever success or accomplishment I made was mine, because of me, my smarts, my strength, my abilities. Oddly enough, I never really factored in that God allowed it. But now I have learned to be poor in spirit, as they say, that, recognize that in an instant, if He wants to take you home, then you will be a pile of ashes in a couple of days. And that is a fact. So that people might see as weakness, right? Like, you mean this unseen power has so much hold on your life that you think He controls everything? But I do think He controls everything. Yes, He allows things to happen, sometimes when He feels I can make something even greater happen by allowing you to do your own will. Then He will, but it's only because He allows it. So now I see my own weakness vis-a-vis His strength as a strength. The knowledge of His strength is now my new strength. When in the past, it was always like, no, you have to be confident in yourself. You have to be strong in yourself. You need to rely on yourself. But I no longer live like that. Of course, I'm not saying don't do anything and just be a puddle, do everything you can. But remember that it's only because He lets you that you can do everything you can too. And the things that you cannot, definitely just leave it to Him and don't even worry about it. Because if He knows that this is beyond you, of course He'll take over. And that is the faith I have. That willingness to be weak, that is now my strength.
Okay, let's go, last one. What part of your identity feels truer than it looks from the outside? What part of your identity feels truer than it looks from the outside? Feels truer than it looks from the outside. I think from the outside, I look like to people. I know I scare people. I know I intimidate people sometimes just by being there or showing up in some situations, and I hear this a lot from people, right? When they first meet me, they are afraid of me, And as I get to know them one-on-one, they realize that I'm a totally different person from how they perceive me to be. And so I feel like my outer, how I look, how I behave, can be intimidating to people for whatever reason. I don't even know what specifically is it, it's just something, right, that people just like, so I think that's maybe it's incongruent in that sense, but when people get to know me, they realize that I am not who they thought, and that my identity is more like, if they get to know me one-on-one especially, like they will know who I really am, or as much as I want to share. Like I don't reveal myself that easily, with people. But I guess through this podcast and in my conversations with
inevitably,
you, so people know me better, I feel, maybe. I think that would be how I would look at this question. I've heard like 1001 comments from people about, like they don't even know me and they don't like me.
I've never thought that you would give out that vibe. Not even before I knew you well.
I think maybe because we knew each other when we were teens, so maybe that's a bit different. When I was in maybe my 20s right up to 30s, right, I get a lot of comments from women who say things like, they thought I was really stuck up, or they thought I was very arrogant, and I always look at it as people who lack self-confidence will look at someone else with confidence as arrogance. That's how I see it, and I realized that it's a reflection of who they are, more than anything. I've also realized that I have this, sometimes I'm quite deadpan in how I look, and so how they perceive me is maybe it's a reflection of themselves, because I don't give out, I don't say anything, I don't give out any,
so it's their own projection,
right? So that's what I feel sometimes could be it, because I go like, but I haven't even said a word to this person.
Sometimes it's just very unfair. I find that people have a weird perception or a very wrong perception of other people, and then they just start building this false image of you and a false idea of you. And then they might even like start saying things to other people, and and then it spreads.
And that happens to me a lot.